Teenage Mother is a 1967 propaganda scare drama from director Jerry Gross. Oh boy, this footage has seen better days. Well, we've got a movie all about the fears of teen pregnancy. How should it open? With drag racing, of course. Who doesn't get horny at the sight of all these classic cars? Or maybe the cars speeding down the track is just a visual metaphor for sex? After all the racetrack footage, a bus pulls up to a convenience store. Is this our teenage mother? Oh, okay, no. It's Ms. Peterson, the new health teacher at American High School, USA.
You want me to call you a cab, Miss?
Miss Peterson. Yes, I would appreciate it if you would.
This isn't a cab. Never mind, it's more racing. Look at them go! Without socks, even. Something happened which makes the cars pull over. Tony rushes over to his girlfriend, Arlene.
Well, that stuff you get, I'll run you right off the track. Hey, you all right?
Are you okay? I know we parked the cars a little close to you. Thank God you weren't killed. But Chin Duke tries to bring the manlet energy. Tony then takes Arlene out for a ride. She sits directly on the gear shift. They then stop at a local park. Tee-hee! Nature is fun! They run around some more and annoy the ducks. Then it's time for kissing. Of course, all this kissing brings up the subject of marriage.
You'd make a very jealous husband.
Husband?
Can we just have fun sex and worry about all that later? They cut to a bunch of students taking a test. Duke gets busted with his gigantic cheat sheet. Over in the principal's office, Miss Peterson is there to discuss her new job.
Sex to many people is something dirty, something to avoid talking about.
Oh, I see. You've been to Catholic school. Just then, Mr. Rollins walks in with Duke. Hey, Mr. Principal, I found this 30-year-old guy trying to pass as a high school student. Later that day, some students are playing catch. The coach tells the boys he'll have more time to focus on the team since he'll no longer be teaching health. Guy looks a lot like a young Fred Willard. Oh my God, it is a young Fred Willard.
Health education being taught by a woman. That's something new.
Yeah.
A woman? Women don't know anything about health. The coach introduces Miss Peterson to her class. Does she always look like she was just told bad news?
Especially since Miss Peterson is also a newcomer to our country, having recently arrived from Sweden.
She's from Sweden?
Yeah, for sure, from Sweden.
The coach tells the class they had to change the name from health class to anatomical biology. I guess sex ed was too on the nose. Miss Peterson shows how she studied to learn a little bit about each student.
I won't press my luck too far, as I'm afraid I shall say something like, Robert is interested in making his own dresses.
Yeah, dresses. How did she know? Miss Peterson unveils the required reading for the class. The first is the Kinsey Report, and the second is Flowers in the Attic. This will teach you everything you need to know about sex. She tells them at the end of the class they're going to be watching a film that shows a variety of real births. Miss Peterson asks Tony to stay after class to hang up some charts. Arlene immediately gets jealous.
Tony!
Since Tony didn't hear her, she figured the best thing to do is dump him and go out with Duke. She was just following the teenage guide to popularity. Tony had already reached their 1-month limit. Then they go to the Action House. Either that or I'm having a seizure. Yeah, butts! I think I remember Austin Powers going to this club.
This makes me extremely horny.
The teens clear the floor for anyone who actually knows how to dance. Wait, now Tony's there? And he just stands back and lets Duke dance with his girl? Duke looks like he's doing Crispin Glover's dance from Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
No way, not tonight, no way, not today.
Shouldn't Tony have stepped in about 50 times now? If this keeps up, later he's going to be prepping the bull. Arlene apologizes, but Tony's sick of her nonsense and takes her home.
Promised to bring her home early, so here she is.
I always know I can count on you, Tony. Thanks.
High school girls just love a guy their parents can trust. Everyone was so sweaty back then. The next day, Miss Peterson goes to have words with the prudish librarian.
These young people have the right to know about the facts of life.
You take the good and you take the bad. The librarian lets her know she's keeping things as prudish as possible.
That book
has never appeared in this library and never will, as long as I'm here.
Well, only one solution. Gotta murder the old broad and make it look like an accident. In the middle of this movie about teen sex, they bring in that other thing. Drugs. Duke is trying to get the nerds to smoke weed. Tony steps in to rescue the nerds. Duke goes to the junkyard to meet his supplier? This seems like a terrible place for a deal. The cops show up, where's everyone go? What was that in the medicine bottle? Arlene's dad is mad because she's failing all of her classes.
Look at you. The way you're dressed.
Look at how she's dressed, audience. Look at it. You can see her knees. Arlene spites her parents and goes with Tony to the beach. They lay down a blanket and set the radio dial for romance. Arlene then gives Tony a super ultra mega green light.
Show me how much you really love me.
He tries to fight her off, but it's ineffective. The horny is just too strong. Duke and a random girl are drunkenly parking at the school. What drug is he taking that turned him into Dr. Giggles? Miss Peterson is working late, so he breaks into the school to mess with her. He drags her into the boiler room and, oh dear! The coach arrives in time to scare him off.
I saw somebody run off.
No, I just slipped and fell. My heel caught.
No, I fell and my bosoms flew out of my dress. The next day, I never knew Elmo's last name or that he was a doctor. Arlene goes to the doctor to see if she's pregnant. The doctor tells her she's not, but she really wants to be.
Are you sure?
These kids definitely need that sex ed class.
I'm not pregnant, not even a little bit.
Listen, dummy, there's no such thing as a little bit pregnant.
Young lady, there is no such thing as being a little bit pregnant.
Oh my God, he said the same thing, just a little bit nicer. Duke and the gang go to see the school's custodian. He's kind of a mess. They bribe him with drugs to plant dirty pictures in Miss Peterson's desk. Arlene goes to tell Tony she's pregnant. She tells him the only solution is marriage.
I've got to get married.
I got a better idea. We contact Dr. Martin. Tony doesn't want that, so she decides to run away. She then hitchhikes her way out of town. Arlene's parents find out she's missing and call around looking for her. Her friend comes over and tells them the shocking truth.
Arlene is pregnant.
It's that teacher.
What?
That Miss Peterson, or whatever her name is. All that hygiene talk at school. That's what did it.
This guy's as dumb as the kids. She's been teaching there less than a week. They call the cops and set up an emergency meeting of the school council. The trucker stops at a local diner. Of course, Duke just happens to be there. The guys leave and take Arlene with them. Tony rushes to the school to find out what's going on. He then heads back out to try to find Arlene. The gang goes to the drive-in to see one of the director's other movies. Duke tries to make his moves on Arlene. Are they sitting in a car? If so, where is it? Tony stops at the store. Hi, I see you have home delivery diaper service. I'm gonna need that soon. We now go to the school council emergency meeting already in progress. The principal tells Arlene's dad that Miss Peterson isn't to blame for Arlene getting pregnant. Arlene comes to her senses and escapes. She runs away and Duke and the boys try to kill her. Tony shows up just in time to beat the hell out of Duke. Arlene comes clean and tells Tony she lied about being pregnant. Back at the school, they bring up the porn they found in Miss Peterson's desk.
Well, look at these, Bob.
Disgraceful.
Horrible! Send this to my office where I can study it better. Without interruption. They insist on seeing the movie she was going to show to the kids, and she explains what it's all about. They roll the film about birth, and it's scandalous!
When the interior fontanelle appears at the posterior promissure of the vulva.
And what would the children have learned by seeing the film?
That childbirth is a very messy and disgusting procedure.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Miss Peterson then lectures this group of idiots.
How much did you and your wife tell your daughter about the facts of life when she became of age?
Well,
You don't have to answer.
If you were a good parent, you'd know all about Tootie, Joe, and Mrs. Garrett. Arlene arrives safely and tells them about Duke. They call the cops to have him arrested. They then go after Horace. Arlene tells everybody she's not really pregnant. Then we end with some words of wisdom.
She's a brave woman.
You're right. Like someone once said, it took a woman to show us the light.
Decades later, this subject became so common, MTV made it into a TV series. That's kinda depressing. Teenage Mother was produced, written, and directed by Jerry Gross. This was a year after the director had his first film, Girl on a Chain Gang. Gross became known in the industry for his outrageously heavy-handed marketing. Through his distribution company, he released films with such salacious titles as I Drink Your Blood, The Seducers, I Spit on Your Grave, and I Eat Your Skin. He said, I guarantee that all of these are selling titles. Stars don't matter, titles do. He was right, because all these movies were financially successful. In the case of this movie, the original title was The Hygiene Story, but it wasn't as catchy as Teenage Mother. The marketing for Teenage Mother is some of the most blatant exploitation you'll ever see. It opens with a text crawl trying to say how important it is.
It may very well be the most important film you will ever see.
Then the MC, with an incredibly heavy New York accent, tells us about
Teenage Mother means 9 months of trouble.
They then proceed to show us purposefully titillating stuff that was never intended to be in the movie.
I'm a very healthy girl. You gotta put out if you're gonna get back.
Including seductively eating chicken wings.
I'm gonna give you the time of your life, baby.
They openly lied about the movie in the trailer, making it look like she had sex with the trucker, when really, he was trying to help her.
She got her kicks out of hitching. She wanted the truck driver, too.
They misrepresent this scene.
Young lady, there is no such thing as being a little bit pregnant.
Are you sure?
And they tried to say you should bring your kids.
In addition to the film, there will be a brief lecture on how to use our bodies. Every parent should bring their child.
This movie followed in the footsteps of other propaganda films like Reefer Madness, Perversion for Profit, and
Nothing you have ever seen before, and nothing you have ever heard before, will prepare you for the shock of My Baby is Black.
These tactics were done to scare the potential audience into seeing the movie under the guise of it being important. The movie was shot mostly in Long Island, New York. This was classic character actor Fred Willard's first movie. Arlene Farber was Arlene. She made other films with the director, like Girl in a Chain Gang and I Drink Your Blood. In 1971, she was Angie Boca in The French Connection. She retired from the industry in 1976 and married Jerry Gross. Teenage Mother is a terrible film, but it's a grand, unintentionally funny one. Well, I've talked at length about blaxploitation, nunsploitation, canucksploitation, and other types of exploitation. This is a completely different kind of exploitation. I'd say it's vastly more shameful than the others. With those, you know what you're getting into. With this, they try to make it the film that dares to explain what most parents can't, all while playing out like an overlong after-school special that ends showing medical footage of an actual birth. I'm pretty sure the voiceover in the birth footage is the same guy who did the trailer, only he's trying his best to sound like a doctor.
We will now proceed to demonstrate the modus operandi of the universal obstetrical forceps.
Teenage Mother is one of the worst movies I've done on here. If you want some trash cinema that will give you plenty of laughs, fire this one up and enjoy.
Teenage Mother means 9 months of trouble.